Hey everybody, KC0VI Tom here. It's Saturday morning here. We're towards the end of July and I've had off for 2 weeks and got a bunch of stuff done around the house. And this morning, the little doggy and I looked at each other and we got enough stuff to say good. Did a lot of cleanup, a lot of moving around. And she decided we were going to go camping. And we're out here at Halverson Park and it's just south of St. Ansgar. We'll spin around here. The camp is probably not quite half full. As you see, there's a lot of spaces in between everybody. We've got a Sunday gawker going by. There's Pooh over there, and I got a space for the next campers. Got a couple campsites down there. And we'll walk down to the boat ramp here in a little bit as we stroll talking about campground etiquette. Been a while since we visited this subject. By now, like I said, this is the end of July. The reason this campground is so lightly being used today is the fact we have a lot of county fairs in North Iowa going on right now. Saragota, a couple counties over, is on. Then Mitchell County will be coming up here soon. So it's one of those deals where people have to decide whether to take the kids to the fair or show stuff at the fair or go camping. It's part of life. Then you get to my age where you don't have to worry about that. Kids are off and about, or then the grandkids come along, then you got to go back into it. But we'll get going here. We decided to go camping today due to the fact that it is not too bad today. It's about 80 degrees, but the humidity is starting to come up. And long range forecast shows a 7 to 10 day heat wave coming in, highs in the 90s. Thursday, Friday, possibly 100 degrees. And so might as well go out now while it's nice out. Then next weekend or during the week, I'll just hunker down in the basement working what I got to do there. For you newbies out there for the first summer, you're going to see a lot of strange stuff and a lot of things that doesn't seem right to you. And trust me, a lot of the stuff out there is not quite right. For our veterans, weekend warriors like myself and some of our long-termers, we've been out here quite a few times this summer and over the years, and it is, I can, just by looking at the rig when I pull in, I can tell what type of person is camping there. So it can be quite enjoyable to be proven wrong if that ever happens. But remember, when you're setting up, you don't want to be disturbed. So the guy next to you, if they pull in and they're starting to set up, don't go over there and do it yourself, or say, hey, nice rig, stuff like that. Let them run through it. Let them get done what they need to get done. Don't break their concentration. And same when tear down and they're leaving. You don't want to be disturbed while you're going through your little checklist. They don't want to be either. When somebody's backing up to the site next to you, don't run over there and tell them you're going to help them guide them in. You don't need to do that. They know what they're doing. And like I do, if I'm out there, I'll keep an eye on them. I mean, I'll watch them back in. If they get kind of close to something, I'll start making motions to their ground guide, pointing it out. And a lot of times they've already picked that up before you even had a chance to catch their attention. So it's just best to stand off to the side unless there's something seriously is going to happen, then jump in. But on that, just sit back, enjoy the show. Watch how a real person backs up a rig, Walking around a campsite, we just had a couple walk by here. That is probably the most popular things to do in campgrounds, is walk up and down the camp road and look at other people's rigs, the accessories they have, and kind of see how they have stuff set up. You see something that's interesting and there's nobody around the campsite, don't go in and pound on the door, ask, try to rouse something up. But if they're sitting around the campground like people next to me are, just walk up to the edge of the road and say, hey, ask them what the question. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get it waved on. Come on in here, I'll show you what to do, and they'll explain everything to you, because everybody enjoys showing off what they have, and it's quite fun. Okay, I have to reshoot this one little section. The camera overheated again. Hope this is not going to be an ongoing problem with this GoPro. Where do you left? Okay, once you get your rig all set up, your camping accessories put out, that's something else I can't believe. Some people have told me they take up to an hour to set their site up. And they asked me how long it takes me. It's 2 lawn chairs, cooler of beer, lower the awning, throw up a couple antennas. 20 minutes maybe? I mean, it's you're there to camp to enjoy, not to decorate the world, but I try not to get on there. And again, if you do stuff like that, make sure you shut the lights off at night. Nothing more irritating than have one section of the campground lit up like a Christmas tree, Christmas time. So again, once you get everything set up, walk the site. Here at Halverson, this is a non-designated area, which means you park willy-nilly how you feel like it. And we'll look down here. As you see, some of these sites are rigs. That pickup truck's parked like me, 90 degrees to the water. You got that Jayco is parallel to the water. J-Flight's on a 45. Pooh's over there. I wanted to have it sent that way because on the, well, for you people, it'd be a right-hand side. That's east, and that's where the sun's going to come up. But I want that sun shining in the bedroom in the morning. And over here, you can see how everybody's just kind of parked. You just fill out the registration form, and each of the power poles has a number on it. You just put down the one that you're closest to and go from there. We've had a little bit of problem here in the springtime with this campground, and I'm sure it's in other campgrounds across the country, or on these non-designated ones, you can come in and take as much room as you think you need or want to need. Here in the springtime, we've had a group from Minnesota come down. There's like 4 rigs, and they were taking up 6 to 8 spots, I heard. And the camp host got down, and one about after the 3rd or 4th week they were down here weekend. And they said, well, fine, we're not coming anymore. I mean, they would have everything strung out, taking up more room than what they really need. So when you set up the smallest that's livable, I guess you call it, or the smallest, largest area, don't be greedy, don't be a land grabber. There's more than enough room here for everybody. I can't read my notes here. But like I said, keep your site nice and tidy, clean, walk it. Make sure everything is of yours that stays inside, especially music. There's a radio station down in Des Moines, KGGO. One time they had a bumper. That's that little call sign or station identification in between songs or between the news and the music. It went something like a KGGO, the station your neighbors listen to, whether you like it or not. Yeah, trust me. We were at a campground here that this guy was very interested into old country music. We're talking yodeling cowboys, and it was loud. You could hear it all over the park. And again, no other camper confronted him. That's not our job. We're here to relax, try to relax. The camp host showed up, went over and told him nicely to turn it down, and he got mad, yelled a few words at her, very adult words, we'll say. Threw everything he had back in the camper and roared off. And she came around to apologize to everybody. And I said, man, did you throw him out for just loud music? She goes, no, I asked him to turn it down. And he got all bent out of shape and says, I'm leaving never to return. Whether or not he returned, I haven't heard any old country music in that campground. The picnic table is creaking. I'm not that heavy, am I? We moved down here about halfway in the center of the park. There's actually less people here. There was couple of big rigs down in this part of the park when I pulled in this morning. They pulled out, so we're say less than half now. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on here in North Iowa. Kids, pets, music. We talked a little bit about music earlier. Again, make sure you keep the music down. Kids and pets, control them. They should be seen and not heard. I know growing up, my dad was always hard on us when we're out camping. No yelling, screaming, no running around. Especially talk to the kids when they're going from your camper to point A or B in the campground. Have them use the main trail, the road. Do not cut through people's campsites. That's not good. You want to sit there and enjoy the afternoon. Because you got to remember, everybody's out here to do one thing: relax and enjoy nature. They don't want a little snot-nosed little rat running through along with their dog or cat, whatever they got on the leash. So again, be respectful. Make sure the kids understand they can't yell and scream above normal, you know how kids play. When they go around camp, make sure they follow the trails. And same with you. And if you happen to your campsite is at a trailhead, just be aware you're going to have a lot of people going by. We snagged a couple of campsites like that and another campground here, and we were warned by the camp host as well that site is right at the the start of a trail. It's a trailhead. Didn't bother us, and actually it was quite enjoyable sitting to talk to people as they came and go. A lot of them were really respectful. They would come out of the trail, and realize that there's a campsite right there, and they were well behaved, the kiddies and the parents, and asked some questions and how they walked, stuff like that. So again, everybody out here to have a good time. I've always been told that there's always one jerk in the campground. If it's not the guy on the other side of you or across the road, it might be you, and you don't want to be that guy. Get over here to Cedar River. It has been an extremely dry summer so far. We're about 7 inches below normal, so the water is quite low. There's a hydro dam. I think it's a mile or so down that way. So the water is fairly well being changed over, but it's just really low, and the boaters have to be careful, than normal. So again, gorgeous weekend. This is what every weekend in the summer should be. Everybody's out having a good time camping. Let's make sure we're not disturbing other people as you're out there camping. Again, it's for everybody, not just for you. Quiet time, real important. A lot of campgrounds will have posted quiet times like 9 till 6 or 9, 9 or 10 at night till 6 or 7 in the morning. Make sure you observe them. Also lights. Make sure you shut off your lights in your camper during that quiet time. Now if you're still out there enjoying the campfire and the stars at night, keep it down to a dull noise, dull roar. Make sure you police your lights. Make sure you're not shining lights in your neighbor's windows, stuff like that. So it's pretty awkward in the morning when the guy comes over and starts giving you a hard time when you left your porch light on. Like, what do you think this is? No, we were still outside camping, enjoying it, enjoying the campfire. Here at the edge of the park, right next to it, the county has a public access boat ramp. A couple of real nice docks there that are movable in the fall so the ice jams don't bust it up. And you can't see it the other side of those bushes. There's quite a few cars, boat trailers. A lot of people have been here. They're up and down the river enjoying themselves. Again, you're out here, respect others, respect the property. Make sure you're not making too much noise. You're policing your area. Make sure your lights aren't too bright at night. Pick up your trash. That's one thing that bothers me big time. TLJ used to get upset with me because I'd just get on a rant. People throwing their trash into the fire ring. Fire rings are not trash receptacles. Beer cans do not melt down completely. I'm hearing reports that some county parks are removing fire rings due to that reason. If you want a fire ring, you have to come in with some type of propane fire pit. So again, that 991 rule, one person screws it up for the rest of us. So let's head back to the camper, see what little doggy's doing. What are my odds if she's cooking supper? I picked up a nice steak today. I bet you she's gnawing on it. Too bad. Okay, we're down here at the farthest west side of Halverson Park. A little public fishing area that is wheelchair accessible. Excuse me. I laid down, took a little nap. It was so peaceful here. Down there we had a group of tubers. They woke me up. They were laughing, hollering, having a good time out there. Then down over here we have another group. I can't tell from here if those are tubers, sir. And again, this little park here is very enjoyable. Again, when you're out in these little parks, remember to be, like I always tell everybody, just treat other people how you want to be treated. You don't want somebody running through your campground. Some neighbor kids screaming top of the lungs. I've had that happen. We were at one camp. The kid was very unhappy all weekend, and even the kids that were next to me were getting a little irate with him. So, again, don't be that jerk in the campground. Mind your P's and Q's, and don't don't try to solve the problem. If you got a neighbor that is very obnoxious or whatever, but bouncing beer cans around, and get a hold of Park Host. That's what their job is. And that's the other thing. Clean up after yourself. I've come through campgrounds and people have left stuff. A couple weeks ago we were here. There was a class, that was class A. It was across from us. Had this old grill. He cooked steaks on it. He had more fire on the outside of the grill than there was inside. And they roared off and left it by the road. It's still sitting over there. I'm surprised the camp hosts and nobody's actually picked that up. But the other thing people ask me about is firearms. How should you handle a firearm in camping? My question is, what do you need a firearm? The chipmunks here aren't that deadly. I mean, every once in a while I see one that's got a switchblade, but keep firearms at home. Nobody's here is looking to rip off anybody. Everybody's here in about the same frame of mind. They want to enjoy the weekend, relax, get rejuvenated. There's no real threat here, at least where I camp at North Iowa. Kind of a busy road here. And you got to remember the construction material on these campers. You stand outside, say my camper, and you got a small, say a 22 round pistol. You take a shot at me and you miss, because most kids these days think you hold the gun sideways. No, you hold the gun up that way. The way the bullet comes out of the barrel and the trajectory on it, that's why they're always missing, I believe. But that will go through a normal camper inside. one wall out through the other wall. Hopefully you're not hitting anybody in my camper. And that can actually travel across to the next camper and pierce that wall and probably get embedded into the next wall, or actually pierce through that wall and drop down in the grass. These campers aren't built like a house. Bullets will penetrate them. That's just a small 22 round. You can imagine if you're out here with a 45 or 9 mil, or heaven forbid, an AR, you don't need that stuff. At least I don't think so. You don't need that stuff camping. Leave it at home where it belongs. Unless it's a hunting trip, yeah, then fine. But then again, always practice gun safety. Have that sucker locked. Have the ammunition stored separate from them. It's just amazing. You hear these stories of people going to like a fireworks event or some type of public event, and somebody gets a little peel with the guy next to him, so he whips out his handy dandy pistol thinking he's going to scare him. I don't know about you guys, but I was taught if you draw a weapon, you better be ready to use it, and use it deadly. I was taught when you pull a weapon, your intent is to kill. You are not there to scare somebody. You're not there to wound them. You draw the beat and you take them down. Someday we'll have a long talk about my dad. And 7-3, oh, before we go, Brownie, shirts are really nice. May have to talk to you about maybe summer intern Kevin, I think his name is, could do some work for us here on the Ham Radio RV channel. Take care, everybody. Be sure to tell your friends, neighbors, other hams. Subscribe, hit that bell to get notification when new videos come out. Add comments below. 7-3, everybody. You gonna move around? You're just gonna sleep, huh? Life of a dog.